Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking Criterion again, and this time it's the Menace to Society 4K release from them from 1993, directed by the Hughes brothers. So, let's talk.
Menace to Society.
The hunt is on, and you're the prey.
So on May 26, 1993, Menace to Society was released to the world, directed by Albert and Alan Hughes, the Hughes brothers, and distributed by New Line Cinemas. At the time, this movie was a pretty big deal. It was made for a budget of only $3.5 million and it made over 10 times that at $30 million. So it was a pretty big deal at the time. It's a great movie. I've seen this movie before. This isn't my first time actually watching Menace to Society. But I also looked at it through a different lens this time. I really paid attention to close detail. I looked into, all the actors, the Hughes brothers, and what their past was like and what led them to do this, because this is their directorial debut, believe it or not. They had the script, and they worked on it, they pitched it around, and finally Bob Shea of New Line Cinema, who, I mean, if you guys are horror fans, you know that he created New Line Cinema with A Nightmare on Elm Street, so it was a pretty big deal. And he read the script. I guess his secretary called back the Hughes brother and said, Bob cried. And I guess that was it from there. They were making a movie and they had to start casting. And Tyrone Turner was chosen to play the lead character of Kane in this movie. And this is another one where they said they picked him based on look and not on his acting abilities. So in this movie, they had an acting coach help him get to where they needed him to be. And actually, as I was watching the movie, I gotta be 100% honest with a lot of the other actors. I felt like he was not the best actor, but he didn't need to be, because he had that like Luke Skywalker kind of role where it's like he had to kind of be more of the most relatable character. He doesn't get to chew as much scenery as like Jada Pinkett or Lorenz Tate. Like, they get to do all the like heavy lifting as far as acting. We just had to care about Kane and where he was going. And I think that for what he was asked to do, I think he did a great job, because I really did care about, Kane. So they did a good job. I cared about his home life. I cared about his relationship with his grandparents. It was, I was heartbroken when his grandparents had to kick him out of his house. Like, I'm just sure that he was heartbroken, or that they were heartbroken to kick their own grandson out of the house, So he had to do that. He did a great job. But then on to Lorenz Tate, who now in this movie, he is phenomenal. This is, I'm sure, a lot of people's favorite Lorenz Tate performances. I did enjoy him on the show Rescue Me. If you never saw that, he played one of the Shawns on that show. He did a phenomenal job on that too. But in this movie, he is scary. He plays a very scary, menacing character who doesn't care about if he lives or he dies. You've heard that before. Like, it's just life's got him down. And it's, it's been hard on him, and the society and what they're asking him to do and what he's supposed to be. It can weigh on him, and you notice that in the opening scene of this movie and how violent it is, and he has to portray that. The only thing with his character that I noticed throughout the movie is, as the second act goes on into the third, we really don't see as much of him. They really lean more on Kane's relationship with Jada Pinkett, who, Jada Pinkett in this movie, I believe this might be my favorite Jada Pinkett performance. I loved her in this movie. She's never been more beautiful than she is in this movie too. And she kills it. She is amazing. She's a great mother to her son. You really feel like she cares about her son and giving him the best life. You care about how, she's right now in a relationship kind of with Kane, but yet Kane's mentor was the father of her son. So it's a hard, not really a love triangle. I'll explain more in a minute about that. To play a great mother and to show, a strong woman is very necessary to raising a child in the environment that they're trying to portray in this movie. Definitely incredible. I can't say a bad thing about Jada Pinkett's performance in there. There's also a couple other little performances in there. I want to point out Bill Duke is in this movie, so it's always fun to see, the guy from Predator or National Security pop up and everything, or Commando. So I get excited when Bill Duke pops up. Another actor I want to point out is Charles S. Dutton. He plays I guess he's Sharif's father, but he's talking to Sharif and Kane about what the world is, and it is such a great scene. And I've seen him in other little bit roles, but what an amazing acting performance. I was watching, I had to write that down. I was like, wow, I don't understand why I didn't realize how good of a performance this guy did. It with, It's one scene, but it's so well done, so well shot. He kills it. You know, that's making the best of what's given to you, because honestly, it's unforgettable. You really got to check that scene out. If you'll know it when you see it, obviously, when you watch this film. But now that we've talked about the performances, I want to dive a little bit more into spoilers, so this is your spoiler alert for the rest of the video. So, in this movie, in the opening scene, Larenz Tate kills a convenience store clerk violently. And this movie starts off very violent. You have that scene, then we shift right into Samuel Jackson, who plays Kane's father, in another great little bit performance. That's what, before 1994, when Samuel Jackson took off with Pulp Fiction, Samuel Jackson was just scene stealing through the early 90s and late 80s. That's what he was doing. He was popping up in Spike Lee movies. Anywhere you would see him, he always stole the show. It's no different here. Trust me, check him out too. But anyway, that's another violent scene. That's when Kane sees his father kill somebody for the first time in its first experience with violence, and that's the life that he's gonna lead. Because this movie's really about Kane's push and pull in the environment he's raised in, and if he can get out of that environment. But they don't play him like a hero. He is more of an anti-hero, because you're pushing for him to get out, but this guy makes a lot of dumb choices. You know, at some point common sense should kick in, and it doesn't. You know, another great scene in this movie is when he's talking to Jada Pinkett Smith's son Anthony, and showing him, you know, they're just playing video games. He pulls his gun out and just leaves it on the nightstand, and then he feels like it's okay to show that kid how to shoot a gun. I'm not too sure the kid's age, but definitely way too young to be holding a gun. So I don't understand why that was thought, okay, that's a good idea, I'll try this. Not a smart decision. So you like things like that, you know, he's still selling drugs, and you can see how it's hurting his grandparents, it's hurting his whole life, like in his whole relationship with Jada Pinkett. You know, he gets arrested in this, like, you know, and given we know that the cops have their own vendetta, and that's shown very much, like when they do get arrested, the cops dump them off in a different type of, like with a different type of gang, expecting them to like beat each other up because the cops don't care. And that's what they're trying to show in this movie. And it's another just great little thing in there for them to do. But it's for Kane, it's just showing you want him to get out. And they're trying to show you that he wants to get out. He just doesn't know how. The tools aren't there for him. He doesn't know how to take what's given to him. He just takes it and tries to run with it. Like, he seems like he wants the easy life, but on the other hand, he knows that he wants to have a relationship with Jada Pinkett, help her raise her son, start a family maybe with them, and finally leave this environment that he was forced to live in. And it's really, it's just very well done. It's a great story. The Hughes brothers definitely nailed that. And then we get to that tragic ending in this movie where, unfortunately, Kane does not make it out. And that ending scene is brutal. Trust me on this. It is just one of the saddest scenes, I think, in film history. Because you were, I think, at that point pulling for him to finally get out. And it's so close. Just had to pack the car up and go. They're on their way. But no. He gets shot trying to protect Jada Pinkett's son. And he successfully does. But he dies. And it's terrible. And that's just an awful, awful way to go. But it's a great ending to a great film. So, if I'm going to wrap this movie up in a film score, I'm going to give this movie a 8.5 out of 10. Now, we all know you're not just here for a film review. You guys are very interested in the new Menace to Society 4K from Criterion, and this is actually one of my favorite boxes ever that Criterion's ever put out. I truly love that. I'll definitely show some pictures of it, but if you can see here, these two faces, this actually is part of the actual box, which is pretty cool. It slides in and out, and then their faces show up in there. It's a really cool box, and it's not a cheap material. It's like a thicker plastic. It's not like that hard plastic, but it's thicker, and it's definitely a much higher quality. It's got like a semi-gloss finish. Like the light kind of pops on it, so it's not much of a matte. Flips open great. You just get your 4K and your Blu-ray in here. Then just, you know, it's got a little book with it too. A lot of Criterions do that. But yeah, as far as packaging goes, it's definitely one of my favorites. That's why I wanted to point that out right off the top. That beautiful packaging on this Menace to Society set. But one thing you're definitely here for is for the visual and audio upgrade, and this is one of the first rollouts for Criterion in 4K, and I think they did a great job. I did a piano 4K review not too long ago. I didn't quite think that this was up to what the piano was, but that could be source material. This was definitely shot on a much lower budget, and it is very like noticeable, but it's supposed to look like that. You wanted it, that's what they were going for, a down and dirty, gritty look. But some shots, it definitely shows that they couldn't get, like, it couldn't be fixed to the perfection that I thought it could be fixed, but they still did an amazing job. There's plenty of shots, mainly daylight shots, where I thought that it looked beautiful, some of the best 4K shots. It's definitely cleaned up the best version it could possibly be, because I have seen other versions of this, so this is definitely the #1 visual upgrade on here. Definitely looked sharper. HDR definitely helped this thing pop. You know, it's not much color. You've seen like movies like this before. The colors are very like flat. You know, sometimes there's some colorful parts in like certain stores, like in the convenience store in the beginning, certain things because of the lighting, it pops more and like that, or like later in the movie, some day shots, those will pop more, where a lot of this movie takes place at night, so, or in like darkly lit scenes, and you're gonna definitely notice that. So, still, definitely a solid visual upgrade. Audio upgrade, there is a 7.1 remix on here, it says, that I actually I'm not able to actually test out, so I can't give you a review on that, but the only other options on there are commentary tracks or 2.1 stereo from its original version, and that's what I listened to it in. And that was still really good. You know, obviously I would have liked to test out the 7.1, so I can't give you a full review on that part, unfortunately. But from what I heard, definitely stellar. This movie has a great soundtrack, so it definitely works. And and another thing about the visuals, they said that this movie, they were inspired by movies like Goodfellas, and there was a great tracking shot, and this is where the HDR popped a lot actually, and the audio, because it goes from right to left, and you can hear the rain and thunder because it's raining, and there's a thunder and lightning storm outside. Just a great shot, right to left, and you can tell it felt very Goodfellas inspired. I just wanted to point that out because it was a beautiful shot. I'm a sucker for shots like that. Just totally set up great. This movie had a lot of great shots. These are guys who wanted to be filmmakers, and it definitely showed, because they did start out in music videos, so they pay a lot of attention to, you know, what they can get out of a shot. And with audio, they actually they made a lot of Tupac music videos, so, you know, they knew their stuff coming into this, and, you know, that helps with Criterion getting the best version of audio and visuals we can get. And also, as we get into extras, which Criterion always kills, and they have a couple new extras on here that have never been seen before. 3 new interviews that were they're like 3 parts of the same documentary, and all 3 of those were very well done. You get a lot of interviews with the stars, the directors, obviously both are back, some producers, cinematographer. All of them talk about what their experiences were like, and they're all very well done. But there's still plenty of other extras, like I think there was an interview from 2009 on there that was also very, I enjoyed that interview too. And, you know, some other little extras on there. Criterion never skips out on the extras. All those are actually on the Blu-ray disc, the 4K disc, like most of them I have noticed do not contain any of those extras, so you have to pop in the Blu-ray disc to find those. And yeah, no, it's great. It's a very great package overall. Like I said, packaging is great. Visual upgrades are very well done. Audio, I would have liked to test it more, but still very well done. And as always, they kill with the extras. So for this Criterion Menace to Society 4K Blu-ray release, I'm going to give this a pretty solid 8 out of 10. And as always, guys, if you like these Criterion reviews or any other reviews, please like, share, and subscribe, and tell all your friends. Hey guys, thanks for sticking around after the video. I hope you guys enjoyed my Menace to Society Criterion review. This week in our digital code giveaway, we're giving away Almost Famous. So this week we're giving away Almost Famous, so I figured in honor of that, I will ask you, what is your favorite movie from the 2000s? That's from 2000 to 2009. Any movie is fine. Just let me know what your favorite movie is, and we can discuss it in the comment section below. And then don't forget to come back to Monday's video to find out if you are the lucky winner who gets the digital code. And guys, thank you very much for sticking around to the very end. And as always, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and tell your friends.